What if the very pills marketed to save your bones after 60 were quietly working against your heart, your kidneys, and your energy? If you've ever felt more tired despite taking supplements, had stubborn nighttime leg cramps, or noticed constipation that started around the time you added new tablets to your routine, you're not imagining it. Those are classic red flags that your mineral system is out of balance. Today, I'm going to open your supplement cabinet with you, emotionally at least, and show you the 4 products most likely to undermine your health after 60, and the 4 that can help you feel steadier, clearer, and stronger. I'll explain why certain old favorites backfire in older adults, what to use instead, and how to combine the good ones so they actually work. Stick with me because one of the upsides is almost never discussed in doctors' offices, yet it supports cellular energy in a way that feels like turning the lights back on. And no, we're not doing scare tactics, only practical, evidence-informed steps you can take today. Let's start with a supplement most people associate with low energy: iron. After menopause and in older men, the body no longer loses iron monthly, and there's no easy way to excrete excess. If you add iron without confirmed deficiency, it can quietly accumulate in tissues, where it fuels oxidative stress. Think of it as a little rust accelerator for the liver, pancreas, joints, and even the brain. This is why fatigue in older adults should never be treated with iron by guesswork. If your clinician suspects iron deficiency anemia, ask for a full panel: hemoglobin, ferritin, transferrin saturation, and CRP to rule out inflammation that can falsely elevate ferritin. If you truly need iron, lower, intermittent doses often absorb better and cause fewer side effects than daily high doses. Take it with a source of vitamin C from food, not with coffee, tea, or calcium. Recheck levels, don't set and forget. One of my patients once came in with joint aches and rising fasting glucose. The culprit was topping off iron for months. We paused, monitored, and her symptoms eased. Now, let's talk about high-dose vitamin E, especially the large, isolated alpha-tocopherol capsules marketed to older adults. Your body uses a family of vitamin E compounds, not just one. When you flood the system with a single synthetic form, you can crowd out the other tocopherols and tocotrienols your physiology expects. Overdoing alpha-tocopherol has also been linked with interference in vitamin K pathways, which matters for normal clotting and bone protein activation. What does that look like in real life? Easy bruising for some, sluggish wound healing for others. If you've been taking big doses for years, don't panic, and don't slam on the brakes overnight. Taper down over a couple of weeks, and if you still want a little extra support, choose a modest dose of natural, mixed tocopherols and tocotrienols, or, better yet, get most of your E from foods like sunflower seeds, almonds, and avocado. They arrive packaged with the cofactors your cells recognize. If you're on anticoagulants or have a bleeding disorder, make sure your prescriber knows exactly what you're taking before you adjust anything. The theme here is balance, not more is better. Calcium is another big one. The problem isn't calcium itself, it's the form and the way we take it. Calcium carbonate, the chalky bargain bin tablets, depend on strong stomach acid for absorption. Stomach acid tends to decline with age, and many older adults also take acid-suppressing medications for reflux. That combination can mean poor absorption in the gut, followed by an abrupt surge in blood calcium that your body then has to stash somewhere. Where can it go? Sometimes not where you want. Kidney stones, arterial deposits, or heart valve buildup. If your clinician recommends calcium because your diet is low or your bone density needs support, ask about calcium citrate instead. It's better tolerated with lower acid and can be taken with or without food. Keep each dose to 500 milligrams or less. Pair calcium with magnesium, vitamin D3, and vitamin K2, so you're not just dumping calcium into the system and hoping it lands in bone. Even better, prioritize food sources. Leafy greens, low oxalate vegetables, tofu set with calcium, and dairy if you tolerate it. Food-based calcium enters more slowly with the proteins and minerals that help it find a home. Here's the one that surprises almost everyone. Preformed vitamin A, also called retinol or retinol palmitate, especially at high doses across many years. Vitamin A is fat-soluble, which means your body stores it. Helpful if your diet is temporarily low, problematic if you constantly overshoot. Older adults are more likely to accumulate excess, and too much preformed vitamin A can work against bone health by overactivating osteoclasts, the cells that break bone down, while tamping down the builders. If you're taking a multivitamin, fish liver oil, a separate vitamin A, and eating a lot of liver or fortified foods, it adds up fast. Check your labels. If you want the benefits without the toxicity risk, look to colorful plants, carrots, winter squash, dark leafy greens, for beta-carotene. Your body converts beta-carotene to vitamin A when needed and slows that conversion when it has enough, which is a built-in safety valve. If you suspect you've been heavy-handed with retinol, talk with your clinician about testing and a plan to taper. Bones like consistency and moderation, not periodic megadoses. I promised I wouldn't just take things away. Let's build a smarter foundation, starting with magnesium glycinate. Magnesium sits at the center of hundreds of enzyme systems: energy creation, muscle relaxation, blood sugar handling, nerve signaling, and yes, bone remodeling. Yet standard blood tests can look normal even when your cells are running on fumes, because only a sliver of total magnesium floats in the serum. That's why symptoms tell a story. Leg cramps, restless sleep, eyelid twitches, constipation, tension headaches, sensitive nerves. Magnesium glycinate is generally well absorbed and gentle on the gut compared to oxide forms. Many older adults do well with 200 milligrams in the late afternoon and 200 milligrams before bed, adjusting up or down based on stool consistency and symptom response. Give it a couple of weeks. Cells refill gradually. If you have advanced kidney disease, be sure your nephrology team approves a dose. Pair it with hydration and a little protein in the evening snack to smooth nighttime blood sugar dips. The quiet magic of magnesium is less drama, more ease. What can you expect when magnesium is dialed in? Muscles let go sooner, so those calf cramps that seize at 2 a.m. become rarer. The nervous system settles, so you fall asleep faster and wake less. Bowels move predictably. Blood pressure may drift downward when the vascular grip softens. For some, morning glucose nudges toward steadier numbers because insulin receptors seem to listen better with enough magnesium around. I've seen older adults go from jaw clenching and sleep fragmentation to "I slept through" within a few weeks. The key is consistency and the right form for your digestive system. If you're sensitive, start with 100 to 200 milligrams and creep upward. If you love baths, magnesium sulfate as Epsom salts can relax muscles topically. It's not a replacement for replenishing cells, but it can complement. And remember the spacing rule. Don't take magnesium at the same moment as calcium or iron. They compete for similar transport, and we want each to get a fair shot. Next up, vitamin D3 paired with vitamin K2. After 60, the skin is less efficient at making D from sunlight, and many of us spend more time indoors or covered for skin protection. Vitamin D helps you absorb calcium. Vitamin K2 acts like a traffic cop, activating proteins that escort calcium into bone and keep it out of vessel walls. It's not a magic bullet, but together they help your body use calcium where it matters. I like the MK7 form of K2 because it stays active longer in the body, so steady daily doses work well. Many older adults need more D than they think to reach a healthy blood level, but it varies by skin tone, sun exposure, body composition, and genetics. That's why I prefer a test and tailor approach instead of guessing. Aim for your 25-hydroxyvitamin D to land in a middle range that supports bones and immunity without going overboard. If you take warfarin or another vitamin K antagonist anticoagulant, Discuss K2 with your prescriber before starting. Your dosing may need adjustment. Beyond bones, people often notice unexpected positives when D3 and K2 are optimized. Fewer winter sniffles, a little lift in mood, less morning stiffness. Not everyone will feel a dramatic change, but when we check the labs and the story aligns, fewer falls, steadier gait, improved bone density over time, it's a quiet win. Lifestyle still matters. A few short sun exposures in seasons and latitudes where it's safe for your skin, omega-3 rich foods, adequate protein, and balance work for the hips and ankles. If capsules aren't your thing, D3 drops absorbed with a meal can be simple. And I want to emphasize something. Bone is living tissue. It responds to signals. When you send the message, "We need strong scaffolding here," through gentle impact exercise and clear nutritional cues, it listens. The duo of D3 and K2 helps translate that message, but the music is movement, protein, and magnesium tuning. If this is helping, take a moment to subscribe to Senior Vitality Pro and tell me your age or where you're watching from in the comments. I read every note you leave and plan future topics around what you need most. Whether you're 52 and just starting to think about bone density, or 78 and fine-tuning medications with your cardiologist, your questions shape this channel. And if you're here as a caregiver, you're part of this conversation too. Share where you're supporting from so we can consider your realities. Subscribing ensures you don't miss the practical pieces that tie today's insights into next week's actions. And your comments tell me exactly which details to unpack next time. You'd be surprised how many of your "I thought it was just me" experiences are shared by thousands of others in this community. Now for the sleeper hit that deserves more attention. PQQ, short for pyrroloquinoline-quinone. Think of your cells as neighborhoods and your mitochondria as the homes with the lights on. Over decades, more lights go dim, normal aging. PQQ is interesting because it supports the creation of new mitochondrial homes, a process called mitochondrial biogenesis, while also helping protect the ones you have from oxidative nicks. Many older adults describe the effect not as a jolt, but as steadier energy, more "I can finish the afternoon without a nap," less buzz and crash. Typical supplemental ranges are about 10 to 20 milligrams daily, and taking it with breakfast makes sense for most since it can feel energizing. If you pair PQQ with COQ10, think of COQ10 as the electrician optimizing the wiring inside those houses. The combination often feels synergistic. If you're on chemotherapy, immunosuppressants, or multiple cardiac medications, loop in your care team before adding new supplements. Interactions are uncommon, but worth checking. Let's zoom in on what more lights on means day to day. Mitochondria help muscles contract and recover. They fuel brain cells when you're balancing the checkbook, learning a new phone, or recalling a name. They power the tiny cilia that clear your airways. Supporting mitochondrial health isn't a license to push harder. It's permission to experience the same day with less drag. Pair PQQ with simple, mitochondria-friendly habits. Consistent sleep timing, a short after-meal walk to improve glucose handling, protein spaced across the day, and a few bursts of slightly breathy movement that tell your cells, we still need endurance here. Over a month or two, many people notice that the late afternoon slump recedes. The brain fog lifts a notch. Tasks that took an hour take 40 minutes. Those are small, meaningful wins. And if you choose to try it, track your own markers. Energy diaries, step counts, the number of times you wake at night, so you can tell whether it's helping you, not just helping people. Finally, let's give your heart and brain the fats they're built from. Omega-3s, specifically EPA and DHA. As we age, our bodies are less efficient at converting plant-based ALA into the active EPA/DHA forms. That's why direct sources matter. DHA is structural support for the brain and eyes. EPA helps quell inflammatory signaling that influences joints, vessels, and mood. Many generic fish oils skew toward EPA. Older brains often benefit from formulas that provide at least as much DHA as EPA, if not more. For those who prefer plant-based options or want to avoid ocean contaminants, algae-derived EPA/DHA offers a clean, sustainable route. Whatever you choose, purity and freshness count. Look for third-party testing, keep bottles cool and away from light, and take them with your fattiest meal to minimize burps and maximize absorption. If you're on anticoagulants or have a bleeding disorder, share your target omega-3 plan with your clinician first. What improvements do people report with the right omega-3 dose? Triglycerides commonly drop. Morning hand stiffness eases. The tip of the tongue moments back off, and partners notice conversations feel sharper. I like using an omega-3 index blood test to personalize dosing. Most older adults do better aiming for a higher than average range, which correlates with better cardiovascular resilience in research. But food still counts. Sardines, salmon, mackerel, trout, mussels, or fortified eggs if you eat animal foods. Chia, flax, and walnuts add plant-based ALA and fiber. The message isn't 3 capsules solve everything. It's be intentional about feeding the most active tissues in your body what they're literally made of. Combine omega-3s with magnesium and a protein-forward diet, and you've just given your muscles, joints, and neurons a much kinder environment to operate in every single day. Let's stitch this together into a real-world rhythm. Morning. If you're experimenting with PQQ, take it with breakfast, perhaps alongside D3 and K2 if those are on your plan, since fat in the meal helps absorption. Midday. If you take calcium citrate because dietary intake is low, keep each dose modest and separate it from iron or magnesium by at least 2 hours. Afternoon. Magnesium glycinate can calm late-day tension and set the stage for sleep. Evening meal. Omega-3s with your fattiest plate of the day, plus a walk after dinner to help lipids and glucose. Bedtime. The second magnesium dose if it suits your digestion. Every 8 to 12 weeks at first, check relevant labs so you can tune the dials. Ferritin and transferrin saturation, if iron was ever low or high. 25-hydroxyvitamin D, RBC magnesium where available. Omega-3 index if feasible. Keep a 1-page supplement list in your wallet and share it at every appointment. You'll save yourself from accidental overlaps and interactions. Now, back to the 4 to de-emphasize or retire altogether unless you have a clear medical reason. Iron without proven deficiency is risky in older adults. If you truly need it, use the smallest effective dose and retest. Large, isolated alpha-tocopherol vitamin E has more downsides than upsides for most. Food or mixed forms at modest doses make more sense. Calcium carbonate is an outdated choice for many over 60. Prioritize food calcium and, when needed, calcium citrate in small divided doses with D3, K2, and magnesium on board. High-dose preformed vitamin A is a stealthy bone saboteur when stacked across products and years. Choose beta-carotene-rich foods and keep retinol modest unless there's a physician-directed reason. These aren't dramatic rules. They're gentle course corrections that reduce friction for your heart, brain, kidneys, and skeleton. You'll feel the difference in how many good days you string together, not in a single thunderclap moment. You might be wondering, how do I even know what's in all these bottles? Start with a clean sweep. Pull everything out. Flip every label. Circle preformed vitamin A if it's above a modest daily dose. Flag calcium carbonate. Look for DL on vitamin E labels, which signals a synthetic form, and note the dose. Separate iron from multivitamins unless your clinician specifically wants you taking it. Then make a keep, replace, pause list. Keep magnesium glycinate, D3 with K2, omega-3s, and possibly PQQ if you're trying to support energy. Replace calcium carbonate with citrate, synthetic high-dose E with a lower-dose mixed form, multivitamins that stack retinol, iron, and megadoses you don't need with a simpler formula, or, for many, none at all. Pause. Iron unless deficient. Any duplicate products. If you take prescription medications, run the final list by your clinician or pharmacist to screen for interactions, especially with anticoagulants, blood pressure meds, and thyroid hormone. Because we've covered a lot, here's a quick memory anchor you can jot on a sticky note. Aim the calcium, feed the brain, relax the muscles, and light up the cells. Aim the calcium means D3 plus K2. Direct it where it belongs. Feed the brain means DHA forward omega-3s in clean, tested forms. Relax the muscles means magnesium glycinate spaced away from calcium and iron. Light up the cells means considering PQQ with CoQ10 if energy or cognitive stamina is lagging. Another anchor. Test, don't guess. The older we are, the more unique our metabolism becomes. One person thrives at a certain D level, another needs less. One person's ferritin of 50 feels fantastic, another needs 90 to feel strong. Use labs to guide, stories to confirm, and time to judge. If 3 months into a new plan you feel no change and your labs don't budge, that's data to adjust. There are myths I'd love to retire. Myth 1. If some is good, more is better. Biology rarely works that way, especially with fat-soluble vitamins and minerals that compete for transport. Myth 2. Supplements are harmless because they're natural. Hemlock is natural, so is arsenic. Dose and context are everything. Myth 3. It's all placebo. Placebo is real, and that's fine. We harness it alongside physiology. But well-chosen, appropriately dosed supplements can shift measurable markers and how you feel day to day. Myth 4. Pills replace habits. They don't. Supplements are bridges. Food, movement, sleep, sunlight, relationships, and purpose are the architecture. And myth 5. At my age, it's too late. Bones remodel, vessels respond, muscles strengthen, brains rewire. Will we become 20 again? No. Can we become more resilient at 70 than we were at 62? Absolutely. Before we close, a word on safety and personalization. If you have chronic kidney disease, heart rhythm issues, a history of kidney stones, or are on blood thinners, immunosuppressants, or chemotherapy, your plan should be co-piloted with your care team. Magnesium is generally kind, but needs guidance in CKD. K2 intersects with anticoagulants. Omega-3s can affect bleeding time. Calcium needs extra care in those with stone history or certain parathyroid conditions. Write down your goals. Better sleep, fewer cramps, steadier energy, stronger bones, and choose the smallest set of tools that point directly at them. Fewer bottles, more intention. And remember that changing too many things at once leaves you unsure what helped. Add one, wait 2 to 4 weeks, evaluate, then layer the next only if needed. Simplicity ages well. You came in wondering whether the calcium tablets and gold label vitamins lining pharmacy shelves are friends or foes. Now you can see the pattern. Older bodies are not younger bodies with more candles on the cake. We absorb differently, excrete differently, and juggle more medications. That means our supplement strategy should be smarter, not heavier. Pull back on the 4 that commonly cause trouble unless you have a measured reason. Lean into the 4 that support the systems you rely on every minute. Muscles, nerves, bones, brain, vessels. Track what you feel and what your labs show. Give changes a fair trial. Then decide what earns its place in your daily rhythm. I'll leave you with this. The goal isn't a perfect pill box. It's better days stacking up, clearer mornings, steadier steps, a quieter heart, a brain that finds the word you wanted. Open your cabinet tonight and make one change. Swap the carbonate for citrate, Set the high-dose alpha tocopherol aside. Add magnesium glycinate to your evening ritual. Bring K2 alongside D3. Consider omega-3s that match your brain's needs. If energy is the missing piece, explore PQQ thoughtfully. None of this requires perfection. It asks for attention, kindness to your future self, and a willingness to let your body show you what it needs now, not what worked 20 years ago.